What's up, lifers? How y'all doing tonight? See a couple y'all already in here, a couple thumbs up. Digging that. How's the lights look? No, that's too dark, right? Whoa, that's worse. Yeah, I'm playing, y'all. Trying to get that lined up. That's right there. I like that. This little camera is hard to tell. What's up, Lou? See if we can get a few people in here. Hell, we had two. I went live, then it went to zero. Now it's back to one. What do y'all think about that? That's what I saw last year. We'll try not to hit that table, but I can't promise I ain't gonna play with this. Dexter, what's up, man? It's been a long time. How are you doing? Y'all getting over the COVID over there? I'm always here. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Hey, Lou, Dexter don't post anymore, but if you want to watch somebody catching some giant catfish, that's your man. He's from Malaysia, I believe. Don't get mad if I'm wrong. Been super busy, man. You lost your fishing partner too, right? To the COVID. Yeah. Yeah, he's got. If he left them up, hey, Lou, he's got some good videos, man. He's one of my favorites. I wish he posts all the time. What's up, Cedar Creek Freaks? Yeah, I remember you posting a little bit about that. Yeah, I think we all have lost somebody to it. What's up? We're just chilling, trying to get a crowd in here before we start talking fishing. What's up, Flake? Brew for the fish, man. Steel bush slide, but limited edition. No, Flake, I hadn't tried it. If I see it, I will. It used to be my motto, BLD or none for me. Uh, that's good, Dexter. I'll be waiting. You know that. I watched everything you ever put up. Everybody should. You're held presence on the camera and catch big fish. I hear you. I know the feeling. The can has a largemouth bass on it. I'll have to look for it, Flake. You part of the Keystone Clan? Man, Bush Light came out about my junior year of high school, and that's when I started drinking it. And I drank that till I was in my 30s, pretty much. Every once in a while, I drank Michelob. And now that I'm old, I drink ranch water because it don't have any carbs in it. Cedar Creek, you been out doing any fishing yet? CCF? What are pre-spawn bass? That's as they're getting ready to, the bass is getting ready to move up shallow to have their babies. That's where we're at right now. It's kind of stunning because every time we get close to right water temperatures, we get an ice storm blow in. Oh, they're going to do a bunch of different cans. I got you. Yeah, Dexter, like the ideal spawning temperature for bass is about 60 degrees in a cold water lake, like a regular water lake like we have. And you get to bumping close to 60 and you have a full moon, them old fat girls are going to swim up there in about 2 foot of water and they're going to make babies. I like to catch them right before. Low 60 degrees. My favorite to start fishing is about 55, but really and truly, that water temperature, it's important, but what's important is it's trending warm. That means it's going from 45 to 46 to 47, 48. When it's going up, that's when they're going to start heading up, and that's when they bite. What's up, Steve? I hadn't seen you in a day or two. Steve's a way better fisherman than I am. You ought to watch his channel too. He gets out there and plays with them electronics, and I go out there and chunk rocks and try to catch fish. But when they're pre-spawn, they're eating, they're feeding up. So they're ready to do it. They're ready to get their bellies full before they go up there and breed. What's up, the lone outdoorsman? Yeah, I started this about 10 minutes early. It just is 8:30. I get lucky every once in a while, Steve. I'm not good. I mean, I know all the rules that are supposed to make it work, but I can't always make it happen. Like right now, Steve, what was water temperature last time you was on the lake? 48? Because I know you've been since I've been. I hadn't been since last week or last Saturday. Yes, sir, Dexter. It's 8:30 p.m. Thursday. Dexter's on the whole other side of the world, y'all. And if y'all like watching big catfish, y'all go follow him. He's a monster. Even though he hadn't put a video out in a long time, but they got hit pretty hard by COVID too. 10:30 a.m. Friday. So you ahead of me. Yes, sir. It's 8:30 p.m. Well, about 8:31 p.m. Thursday night. That was really shallow, right? What's this cold snap going to do to them? Set them in a ditch somewhere for a day or two. Hawkins was at 56. So Lake of Pines had never crested much higher than 52, 51. It's 9:29 in Florida. Yes, sir. Y'all and I are ahead too. Yeah, I think with this cold water, it's going to move them out of that 2 to 3 foot water to the closest, maybe 5 to 6 foot, 8 foot, and they're going to sit there and soil up for a day or two. Probably by Tuesday, they'll be ready to eat again. But what I would do if I had to fish this weekend, I would be throwing a red rattle trap, dragging a jig to match the water color, and maybe a chatterbait. You go into Athens in the morning. You don't never fish Athens very often, do you? And the only way I got to go during the week anymore, Steve, is in that kayak, and there is no way in hell I'm getting in that kayak with it 30-something degrees. If I had somebody else going with me, I would, but by myself, no, I'm not. 72 degrees. What's the weather with you guys? Right here it is. Let me look. Last I looked, it was about 30 degrees. 31 feels like 25 and foggy. So that means we got a pretty decent little old wind out there. Northwest wind, 8 mile an hour. Yeah, y'all are warm. That's crazy, right? 30 in Athens. Yeah, it's chilly in East Texas, I promise you. This global warming is killing us. Yeah, everybody hears Texas and they assume our weather's a lot like y'all's, and it is if you live on the coast, but I'm 6 hours from the coast. 5.5, 6 hours. But if I was going to get out this weekend, I might have a wacky worm tied on, but I'm probably going to throw red, either a lipless or a red square bill, and just try to pester them into biting. Annoy them. Yeah, sure, I seen it. That's some of that cheating fishing, though. I'm not really like that, but I don't think Josh Jones and his buddies could catch as many big fish as they have without it. And I'd be willing to bet if you let me go out there, I'll stand on the front of the boat with side imaging. I can do the same thing he's doing. It just take me a little bit longer. 80 degrees there. Yeah, it's cold here. Yeah, ours is I'm 31 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what, -1 Celsius, something like that. Going to Palestine to catch crappie this weekend. Why don't you go to Pines? Everybody talks Pines up on them crappie. I don't know. I don't fish for them. The only thing I like about crappie is eating them. I don't like catching them. I don't like cleaning them. But we got 10 people in here. That's pretty good. But if I'm going, it's going to be, like I say, a red square bill, orange square bill, red rattle trap, orange rattle trap. Moving it through where I think they're laying in that ditch at. If there's grass, I'm going to be yanking some kind of chatterbait out of it. A lot of people will tell you black and blue, but them white jackhammers are just hard to beat. Pretty much, if you were here last week, you seen the baits I ran down. That's pretty much what I'm going to throw. That's pretty much what I'm going to throw until we get into mid-March, maybe even April, if we keep having these cold fronts. About mid-April, I'll be switching up to great big swim baits. Dexter, they say they do. They say that's when they feed. Steve, I take you out there, but I have to blindfold you to carry you to it. It's a little bitty lake that already gets a little pressure, and I'm not going to add any more pressure to it with you two. Now, it gets really hard pressure for catfish and crappie, but there's starting to be more bass fishermen out there. I'll put it to you like this. You can go fish Right Patman and fish the same water. It's way north up Right Patman. If you're not in with a clique down there, you don't want to park your shit at the boat ramp. And that's a true story. What's up, Corey? It's a little bitty lake. I bet it's not 1,000 acres. It's not as big as Lone Star anyway. Yeah. Lone Star's a long drive for you, and tap 35 or 40 on it. It takes me 45 minutes to get out there from my house. If you ever want to go, tell me and I'll take you out there. Like I said, I just have to blindfold you the last 2 miles. What's up, Eddie? You enjoying this nice warm weather we're having? Yeah, Dex, come in anytime. I'm going to do these on Thursdays and Sunday nights, which that'd be Friday and Mondays for you. But Eddie, I was telling him what I'd do with this weather like it is. Y'all want me to tell you what Eddie would do? First off, he's not going to go fishing if it's 30-something degrees outside. If he does, he's going to throw a little bit of jig with a long tail on it and bait it around the road bed until he catches every 10-pounder on the road bed. Bass, when they're getting ready to do this spawning thing, they're heading back in creeks. That's what they do. Well, Eddie's favorite spot is a bridge on a lake that's got an old road bed on the other side of it. Well, when they're coming in from that main lake, that road bed is their first stop sign. That's where they're going to hang out up until they're ready to move to shallower water. Like right now, I promise you, his road bed is stacked with fish if they're not getting hammered in the head every day by forward-facing sonar. That's how that works. Some fish are all winter. Not all fish migrate, but the schools that do have been out deep chasing shad. More daylight, warmer temperatures. The shad and the bass are wanting to go into the back of the creeks to do their thing. So the bass is following the food. Then they're going to get down there to where they like to make babies. They're going to make babies. And by the time the bass get through making babies, you'll have your first shad spawn. And bass going to hang out there for a little while. I have 2 people in here, if they're still in here, I consider way better fishermen than me. And I think they agree that's pretty much what's going on right now. Yes, sir. A lot of checks are cash from fishing them road beds. Brian T. What they catch at 17 on an A rig, but it's not just any A rig. You got to have the 3.86 cents swim baits on it. And it wasn't Josh that caught it, it was his buddy. He may not have the prototypes, Sixth Sense has got a prototype A-rig out. That's what he's been catching all them bigs on. Forward-facing sonar, throwing at brush piles in probably 25 foot of water. That's what he did. 25 to 15 foot of water. Everybody acts like Josh the only one out there doing it. I'm not a fanboy of them Gogans, but John B went out there and put a clinic on. I don't watch every one of his videos, but when it says it has 3 double digits in it, I got to watch that. And one day he caught 3 over 10, and he don't fish it every day. Every one of them off A-rig. I'd be doing it different, but I'm hard-headed. Don't get me wrong, I throw an A-rig now. Not used to, I wouldn't throw one. Now I do, but I'd probably mix in a big swim bait with that A-rig every once in a while. Especially if I have forward-facing sonar and could see what them fish were doing. Run that big swim bait by them if it makes them soil up, and then go to something different. But I can't see them chasing the A-rig, because that's a big ball of fish that they wouldn't chase just one big fish too. Yeah, they'll totally ruin OHIV in another year. Y'all realize that lake's like little. It's not big. It's not a big lake. It's not as big as Fort. Yeah, he did. He caught in one day. He's got 4 over 10, but in one day he caught 3. You too, Steve. Stay warm in the morning. If there's ice on the ramp, don't slide in the ramp. I think y'all got a little more weather than we did. When are you going to start bass fishing, Cedar Creek? You doing any tournaments this year? How is the audio tonight? I hadn't even asked. I don't see it moving any at all. Thank you, Lou. I don't know if it'll be the downfall. I mean, you know, Cedar Creek, I was in 2009. Me and my buddy were fishing, little derbies around the house. Well, we were the first one with side imaging in most of the derbies we fished. And it made a difference for about 6 months. And then everybody was catching up. And I think eventually that forward-facing sonar is going to get to where it pings. It makes a noise. Them fish are going to get tired of hearing it. I'm not going to tell you they'll learn what it is and they'll stay away from it. But they'll get tired of hearing it and they'll avoid it. Man, the gas is so high. I don't blame you if you don't fish any. Screw having to travel much. I mean, I've got things going on here at home, or I would probably already be traveling a little bit, but I'm going to try to go to OHIV. Me and Rob won't go down there. We ain't got no forward-facing sonar, but we got as good a side imaging as you get, and I believe I can break a lake down with it just like they do with that forward-facing sonar. That's my opinion on it. And it's fishing to get to the fishing where I like where, I mean, yeah, you can still catch a few out there, but why would you? Why would you even need it? Because they're finna get up until August. They'd be fished up in 6 to 0 foot in grass and in stumps. Way I like to catch them, you know, till it gets really, really hot, and then they'll move back out deep, and then you'll need a forward facing sonar. I mean, when I'm beating the banks, 90% of them casts I make, I know I'm getting in front of a fish every time. I'm just not making him eat. Okay, Rob, I know it is. I know it is. You way further north than I am. I mean, since Tuesday morning, I don't think we've been above freezing, but nothing sticks. Eddie, I'd like to go out and fish with it, but I don't think it's something that you got to have. I think if you're going to compete on a tournament circuit, you probably got to have it. But if you're going to go do what we do and go fish, I don't think you have to have it. 9 days out of 10, I take me and you and some side imaging and go up against anybody that wants to fish on Lake the Pines. Anybody. It's too cold to fish. It's really not. If I had a boat, I would be just like Steve and be out there in the morning. Flake, you say Florida's always hot. I went down there last March thinking that, and like to froze my ass off 2 days. I was down there in South Florida because I ain't carrying nothing but shorts and t-shirts. Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, it's gonna make it. If you don't have it, you're not gonna compete. I seen a guy today. Damn, I can't even remember his name. I watched his YouTube video. He was talking about it. He said, like, if you're going to a tournament and you got to practice, well, the first day you got to dedicate to live scoping. Even if you're a bank beater, the first day you got to dedicate to live scoping. And probably the first day of the tournament if you didn't get on anything on any other pattern. And I mean, we know everybody on Fork had it. And how many people zeroed? We know everybody up there had it in one form or another. One of the big three they had. I think, in my opinion, the biggest thing that's came to fishing in the last 20 years is Spotlight trolling motor. Any Spotlight company looking for somebody to represent them, I'm here. It may be on my kayak, but I'll get out there and rep you every day. Diet Mountain Dew, Spotlight, Stokers, a line company, and a tungsten company. I'll be set. I don't know. I can't even remember where we were at. We were deep south. We wasn't an hour from the Keys. We were down there trying to catch them peacock bass. Gotta have the dew in there. That's damn right. That Diet Mountain Dew, that's what fuels me. It's nobody's really interested in talking about fishing tonight. We're down to 4 people. That's why I don't like doing lives, Lou. People would rather me record talking shit than watch me do it live. That's what I think, Brian. I think eventually that pain, because I mean, it's got to be really loud. It's going to get where it pushes them fish off, makes them where they won't respond. Then that'll be terrible because you'll be able to see them and not be able to catch them. Yeah, somebody, hey, Okie Rob, whoever. I will say this, I'm really close to 2,000. I think I was like 8 away when I started doing that. So if y'all can share this to 80 y'all's buddies and maybe one will subscribe, I'll be there. Oh, Lou, yeah, I know, but it's just, I get like that. It's what I do, but I'm not going to say it's my strong suit. Oh, yeah, I mean, you're going to have to push back further and the warmer it gets, but yeah. I'm just waiting on like Monday and Tuesday, even though they're still going to be lockjawed from this cold front. I'm going fishing somewhere in the kayak Monday or Tuesday. If I got to go back to Banjo or the Tanker Slough or the City Lake or somewhere like that. Just depends on what the wind's like. I gotta get my graph fixed too. I'm gonna try to get down there to Button and let him solder them wires up one day this weekend. Let him be an electrician. Hey Dustin, I ain't scared of City Lake. Hey Okie, you know I don't give 2 shits. I'm kicking back, so I'm gonna read off the phone because I'm blind. Okay. City Lake, I've caught a few fish. Old City Lake, I've caught way more. But I didn't want to say that on here, Dustin, but you made me say it. You been fishing any? Old Town Lake, yeah. I call it Old City Lake. You know, I ain't from up there. But I've caught fish on City Lake or whatever, the one where they drag race the boats. I can catch fish out there too. I don't think there's any big fish out there. I love it when my phone's giving me the spinning death thing. Are y'all getting that everywhere? Still, y'all staying busy. That's a good thing. K Lake. Ain't never been there. Me and you both, Brian. Me and you both. No, but wherever there is, you can catch fish off of it. Except for the lily pads. I ain't never caught shit out on lily pads on that lake. You got it for saying, hey man, my service is. A lot of people don't understand how far out in the woods I live. But seriously, the sun sets between me and town. And my daddy would say, we're so far out, we don't get to Sunday opera till Wednesday night. Old City Lake, top secret. It ain't top secret, but there's too many. Hell, that's where I met Bobby at that'll be in here every now and then. Punching some mats on the edges. Upper 50s and 60s here next week. So that's what we're going to have too. It's supposed to be getting up in the 60s or up in the 70s, I think, and be staying in the 50s and high 40s at night. Them bass finna eat. They finna eat. I just hope I can get out there and get on them. They will be munching. Yeah, I love that. Water temperature, water temperature, water temperature. If you can cast a reel and you can pay attention to your nighttime temperatures, you don't even have to know the water temperature. You got to have a decent idea, what you can look in the paper somewhere and get that. And you can see at night where it's not getting below what the paper told you the water temperature was. That water's going to start warming up. When it starts warming up, them fish finna eat. This time of year. Because they've been laying with their butts down on the bottom, looking up for about a week now because of this weather. In the mud. And that ain't how a bass wants to be. And the only thing they've been eating was hit them in the face. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I don't know exactly up there. Ask around, read some fishing reports. I don't know what y'all's water looks like. But this time of year, a rattle trap. In East Texas, is a red rattle trap. If you want to get technical about it, a Rayburn red. Yes. Pop it along the bottom. Yo-yo it when you hit some grass. Yes. Okay, chatterbait. The only way I fish, a lot of people will just throw them out there and fish open water with them, Dustin. I don't. The only time I throw a chatterbait is when I got grass. I throw it on heavy braid, stiff ass rod, and I tick it across the top of that grass, and I let it bog up. I rip it out. Let it bog up. Rip it out. That's when you get that bite. It's a reaction strike. When you rip that shit out of that grass and it does that flopping up, then bass finna eat it. But I'll find me some grass and that tail, that chatterbait just flipping that grass and I'll let it bog down just a little bit. That's how I fish. I'm not the best with them. Old Buck, which he won't never come on here. He's good at them. Yeah, fast up. Yeah. I rip them. You're going to hear that braid almost sound like you're setting a hook. I agree, Cedar Creek. That's a bunch of people throw it on everything else, but I throw it on braid 90% of the time. And it'll be 100% of the time now because I'm going back to braid and mono. There's not going to be any more fluorocarbon except for maybe one big swim bait rod. Everything else is going back to P line because I got sick of trying to buy everything else. Eddie can catch them on chatterbaits. He fishes them in open water too. I give Eddie hell about just fishing out there on them road beds, but don't put him up on the bank when the fish are up there. He'll wear your ass out there too. And everybody that's interested, I'm working on a podcast. I'm going to record it. I'm not going to go live with it. I'm going to record it like this. It'll be me sitting here talking, try to get some guests involved. And it's going to be called Backboated again. Because that's a story of my fishing life. I always fish out of the back of the boat. And there ain't but one guy that I fish out of the back of his boat that wouldn't 100% of the time trying to fuck me. And he's in the chat right now. What's best for bass? If you're going to have one rod to bass fish with and not an arsenal like I got, go put you some 15 to 17 pound mono, and that'll cover most everything. Yeah, me too. Hey, I'll keep using mono or fluoro on all of my finesse setups. Eddie, tell him how many finesse setups I have. I'm strictly a power fisherman. That's why Eddie kicks my ass out there on that road bed. If it don't weigh an ounce, I don't want to chunk it. That's right, Eddie. That's right. No, Eddie gave me one. Eddie gave me a fairy stick. I think he was trying to be funny when he did it. Cedar Creek Freak knows too. He done heard and watched enough. He knows. Most every rod I throw is over 7.6. And they're all bait casters, except for the one fairy one that Eddie gave me, and I don't hardly ever use it unless I'm brim fishing at the spillway. Oh, I can do that on a bait caster and throw it just as far as you can throw it with your fairy one and not have line wrap. Like 10-pound fluoro, and it breaks shit off, and that irritates me. What do I use out there? What do I use everywhere? That's why I can boat flip them bigs too. It's never under 20 when it's fluoro. I've got one that's got 17 on it because that's all I could find when I bought it. Yeah. Hey, I keep a wacky rig most of the year tied on. My about third favorite bait is that underspin swim bait, the 4-inch underspin swim bait. If I'm casting that through grass and I'm reeling it and they tap it a time or two, but I don't get them, I go back in with that wacky rig and wax their ass about 90% of the time. 100-pound test, you damn right. Right. Well, I'm not either. I mean, when I fish with Eddie, I'm fishing deep, clean water. A lot of rocks. That's why I can't fish with 10-pound test. Now, my wacky rig, I think it's on, it might be 12-pound fluoro. But I've got my 20 and my 15 pay line ordered. It's already here. I'm waiting on the 12, then I'm restringing everything, and I got to get one new spool of 50-pound braid. And my wacky will be on like 12-pound mono pay line. And that's the best line ever made, period, in the subject. Braid the way to go. That's an opinion. It depends on where you fish, too. Rob, I don't guess he's in here tonight. But oh my God, that's all he fishes with. 20-pound braid. It does everything. Well, you need square bills and lipless right now. No, you ain't scared. But I have seen you break some off that I would have liked to see. Where if you would have had 17, we might have got to look at them. But you're right, they might not have bid it. My net rig set up is 25-pound braid with a 2-foot, 8-pound fluoro leader. I say that a lot. Do you think 2 foot's long enough? I don't think I would think you'd want 6 or 8 to get the action down to that 10-pound. Or that 8-pound fluoro. If I was going to fish like that, that's the way I would fish. If I was going to fish with a fairy one, it would probably be 10-pound fluoro. But was Dustin where you met me at? I don't even know if you can get a kayak in there anymore. That lake is low. The basic pay line. Do not get the pay line that's fluoro-coated. Let me repeat that. Do not get the fluoro-coated pay line. That's the only garbage they've ever made. Small swivel. Oh no, just tie a knot. That swivel's got to be killing your action. There's knots online how to tie. Hell, I use the same knot. If I fish like that, I use the same knot I use when I go from my back into my braid. I can't remember what they call it, but it's just a double knot that jams onto each other, and it's really small. And you can't break it with an 18-wheeler. If I didn't have it pitch dark in here, I'd go get you a spool of that and show you, Brian. Brian, do you follow me on Instagram? If you do, send me a message and I'll send you a picture of what I'm using. And Dustin, I can't remember what it's called. I just know how to tie it. And it sometimes takes me 2 or 3 tries to get it right. Going to all monofilament and all braid, I will have to be more careful with my knots, and I don't like that. And I don't know how long I will stay with all monofilament. But when it got hard to go buy the Vicious anywhere around here and even order it, and you're having to use what you're having to use, sheepshank, that may be it too. I don't know. But you know what I'm talking about. I mean, I know there's 3 or 4 different knots that work the same way and clench down on each other, and they're tight, and you ain't gonna break them. And it damn sure make the action better than having a swivel tied in there. I don't blame you. There's a reason behind me going back to all mono and braid. It's just the availability. There's not but one fluoro that I really partial to, and I haven't been able to find it. The green vicious. You haven't been able to order the shit. If you find it, $75, $80 a spool for a big spool. And Cedar Creek, I don't know what we run when I'm doing that big catfishing. I go with somebody that ties all my knots there. All his rods. I need to get in the boat with him at least once this year. We'll go up there to Tawakoni. Every once in a while, we'll go to Cooper. But he's down. I mean, he's a tournament fisher on them blue catfish. And that's about all we do is drift. We bounce 2 off the front on the front of the boat. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's last year was the only time I've went with him that we didn't catch one over 40. Dustin, have you been to Pine since they started dropping the bottom out of it? Don't believe everything you see on Facebook where they tell you it's just a little low. That's bullshit. I have Cedar Creek. I got videos on it. A couple of them. Biggest one I've ever been on the boat we caught was 42. We did it 2 or 3 times. They say Bob Sandlin's got some big blues in it. I didn't know that. Pines ain't lower than I've ever seen it, but it's low for this time of year. They're dropping it out to do work. I mean, I've seen it where there wasn't nothing but a crate north of 155. I've walked across on dry ground on that duck pond. I hope they don't let it get that low, but I'm afraid they're going to. I've heard Cedar Creek had some. And hey, check this out. The first time I ever went to Tawakoni to catfish, they were having a bass fishing tournament where we put in, and they weighed in 1.9 and 1/10. While I was sitting there trying to get the boat on the trailer. My cousin's like, "What the hell are you paying attention to? Not loading this." Oh, I'm watching way bass, and I didn't even know you backed in the water yet. Tawakoni is one of them lakes I need to get up there and fish for bass. I think at one end of it lay out a whole lot like where I like to fish on Lake the Ponds. Brian, I mean, really since September, I guess it's just constantly got lower. But right now, it's bad low. It's don't try to run the creek. Lou, do y'all have them big blue cats up there? I mean, I know y'all do if you had a boat to get in Ohio and shit like that. All right, Flake, I'll catch you later. Dustin, there's some big Alp out there. See you later, Flake. I'll be on here again Sunday night, Flake. Okay. Y'all got both, yeah. Some of the lakes around here got them big blues. Our big lake that has them that's close to me is Tawakoni, which is right up by Lake Fork. But they're telling me another lake just right up the road has them that I didn't have a clue about. Somebody dropped me a couple waypoints. I go over and try to catch one on my kayak. That's some good ones. I know on Ohio and shit they got big ones. Yeah, but it's really sketchy right now. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't need to be running wide open out there. And if you go past a pump station, you damn sure need to be at idle. If he misses that, he's in Kentucky, Western Kentucky. He said he's going to learn about bass fishing. Here we are talking about catfishing. Cedar Creek, Eddie, Dustin, they can all answer bass fishing questions too. Cedar Creek's a tournament guy. Once upon a time I was, I'm not anymore. I've never fished Cedar Creek. I wouldn't even know what it looked like. Does Trinity feed it too? Catfish Mudheart. That's right. Hey, my second favorite thing to catch is bluegill. I'm not gonna lie to anybody. Cedar Creek, my daddy was a bass fisherman. I bet I was in my teens before I ever really did anything besides brim, bluegill fish, brim fish, and bass fish. Anything. What's up, Scotty? You been fishing any? Okay. Believe it or not, Dustin, I got a fly rod or two. I got you. I hope you're staying warm, whatever you're doing. Here lately, where I've been going catching bluegills, is down there on that Lake Pine Spillway. I push them brothers out of my way and get out there and catch me a bucket full of them and come home and cut the heads off of them and scale them and fry them. Trout would be fun. We have them, but we don't. Cedar Creek freak every lake home with me from time to time. Lake Fort used to hand out the most ass whoopings I've ever had on a lake. But when I go to Lake Fork, I'm hunting for that one. I'm not fishing for numbers. Hell, when I go fishing on fucking Papaw's Pond, I'm looking for that one and not numbers. That's me. I swing for the fences every cast. Yeah, same thing around here. Low. Yeah, it's low. It's bad low. It's especially up in that area. Well, Cedar, when I go to Fork, I'm swinging for the fences. I'm gonna do what I can do to catch big fish. That's like Lowe's wanting a tips from fishing from me. I'm really not the guy for it. Watching my videos, unless you're wanting nothing but big fish, is generally not the way to watch. I mean, if you're wanting to go catch numbers, watch other people out there. And the way I figured it out, I'm 48 years old and I've got about 5 over 9. And I've been fishing most of my life. So I figure about every 10 years you're good for a big fish. But for years, I just went out there and fished, and I wasn't hunting big fish. I've never fished Holbrook. That sucks, Cedar Creek. My biggest bass is about 2 pounds. Yeah, Scott, I mean, it's a lake in East Texas right now. When did you say you had to fish it? End of March. By then, they're going to start being postponed. I'm going to drag big swim baits on the bottom of points, on points. In 6 to 8 foot, 10 foot of water. Hope they're staging up to go eat. I have too, Dustin. I've heard this, but I've heard it's a lot Lone Star. It's either showing out or it's a shit show. That's how Lone Star is. You can have the perfect weather, everything right, the pressure right, everything in your favor, and go Lone Star and catch 1 or 2 fish. Or you can go over and catch 10 or 15 and all of them be over 5. But don't nobody tell anybody about that on Lone Star. It does that to a lot of people, Dustin. It does that to a lot of people. I'll tell you why I like Lone Star. I was born and raised on Lone Star Lake. I lived on Lone Star Lake 26 years. Caught my first 5-pounder there. Caught my first 11-pounder there. You ever burn a rattling rogue in 8 to 10 foot of water? That's my favorite way to catch suspended fish. Scotty, you old school, right? You tone it up real good and you put you some weight on it where you can keep it right where you want to. Yeah, I know where all your fish come from. Almost 60. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's some. I knew a man that fished like that a lot and won a lot of money fishing like that. He's passed on. He worked in the oil field when I knew him. Yeah. Cedar Creek. Mr. Eddie put a whooping on your ass if you let him. I don't know how many of my videos you've watched that he's been in there. There's only been 2 that I've ever outfished. And I bet there's 10 or 15 videos up. And I only won on that road bed. There may be 2 on that road bed where I caught more fish than him. But Yeah, you weight that thing up right, and you can keep it right there where you want it. That's probably truly better than throwing that Alabama rig. That's why. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He will. He will put it on you. He'll make you feel like you don't know what the hell you're doing some days. That's why I started putting a camera on it. But he's got a, if you force him to fish different, it's about a 50% chance of you staying with him. Now, there's one day, I guess it was last February or February before last. I don't remember. It was cold and it was shitty. And the fish were doing what they were supposed to be doing. They were up shallow. And that old man whooped my ass. And he ain't old. He ain't but a year or two older than me. I call him old man. He whooped my ass that day on Lone Star. The whole time telling me how bad he hated Lone Star. Cedar Creek, before I got a kayak, I could fish behind anybody and pick up what they missed. Once I got a kayak, I hate fishing behind anybody. I do it all the time, but I hate it. Eddie will actually leave you a spot and tell you he did. Yeah, he hates Lone Star. He'd cuss it like a sailor and go out there and spank your ass on it. Throwing a wobble head. Eric, I've been known to. It's not one of my favorite lakes. I think you've seen me out there with Fat Rob and that blue tracker. I was a fat boy in the back of the boat. Welch is Bobby's lake. That's his home lake. That and the drop shot rig. I don't know if Dustin's still in here, Bobby. You need to tell him how to tie that knot to go from braid to fluoro. Put me in the front of the boat. That's all I'm gonna say about Welch. Put me in the front of the boat. Rob don't know how to catch deep fish with a graph and a spotlight and everything else. He don't know how to fish out past 2 foot of water. My go-to bait for pre-spawn, something red. Generally a red rattle trap. Don't mention that here. I hate that lake. Yeah, they're all staging right now. Yes, Welch gets hammered hard. Welch is a little bitty lake and it gets hammered hard. Right time of year, Cedar Creek, like probably right now. I don't know. I was over there weekend before last. There wasn't any boats over there. But on a normal year, this time of year, there's nowhere to park. They'll be people parked nearly back to the highway. I was not fishing. I have a buddy that lives right there. Oh yeah, yeah, it definitely does. You go up under that bridge, it definitely does. I've only ever had one good trip to Gilmer, and they were out there on that hump, and it had plenty of grass on it. It was post spawn. We wore their ass up. Cedar Creek, yeah. I mean, talk to Drop Shot Bobby here. That's one of his favorite lakes. He can tell you what you need to know. Him and Eric fish it a lot. I like it, but I like it when they're producing, when they're making heat out there, and it's cold as shit. Got to get to Welch early. That's right, about 3 o'clock in the morning. If it's on fire. If it's not, you can get there at noon, and there'll be 3 boats. That's right. And then guess what? That plant's never going to do again. Make enough heat to make that a hot water lake. So learn how to fish it like it is now. Democrats have made sure that lake will never be a hot water lake again, except for during the summertime. What's your PB, Dustin? Yeah. Brady Branch is no longer a hot water lake, though. They hadn't made power out there in 2 years, more than 2 days in a row. Oh, okay. I thought you meant PB altogether. So if you did on Welch, you're not over 10. 8-4. Yeah. On a frog, 6-3. I don't know that I've ever caught one much over 5 on a frog. But you can ask people that watch my videos. I'm bad about not waiting. I mean, I catch fish sometimes that most people would weigh. A lot of people, it would be their PB, and I take a few pictures and put it back in the water. Uh, they're not out there, Bobby. They've been letting it get too hot in August. Or no, them big fish are dead out there. There's no fish over 8 in that lake. Too many people fish it. And find somebody in the last 2 years that's caught one over 8 out there. They're not there. They killed it when they couldn't get water from Lake the Pines, and they let it get so hot when they were producing, they killed them big fish. Now that it's just about back to a cold water lake, they'll come back. They'll be back. But I don't believe there's one over 10 in that lake right now. Thank you, Junkie. Well, they went 2 summers that they didn't pump any cold water in that lake from Pines because they couldn't get electricity to their pumps on Pines. And I think they killed everything over 8. I think for some reason they couldn't take the heat and then the smaller fish could. Yeah, I mean, I know 2 summers I fished out there 1 or 2 times, and there was one right there at that, where it comes out, the freshwater curve, water comes back in the lake. It was 102, 103 degrees. Yeah. I think that killed a bunch of big fish off. There might still be a couple, but in the last 2 years, have you heard of anybody catching one over 8? I know well, the hell, it's been nearly 3 years when me and Buck were out there hammering it. The biggest fish we put in the boat was right at 8. And we were fishing that some bitch 5 days a week. And catching fish nearly every day. Good fish. It's not my favorite lake anyway. I'd rather go fish Lake Banjo than it. I don't know if that 18-inch slot's got something to do with it. I don't know. But I know for sure they had a pretty good fish kill this summer when it got so hot. I mean, anytime they put them floating buoys out there in front of that where they're sucking water in, there's a bunch of dead grass coming in, a bunch of dead fish coming in. I'd like to catch one like that. That's that forward facing sonar on a lake that's full of them. Let me know, Cedar Creek Freak. I'm always down to do some hunting. Bobby, once it settles down there and they figure out that they're not going to make much power, maybe they'll stock it with some F1s and that lake will come back and it'll be a little Lake Fort. Are you going up there up here, or are you going somewhere else? Up here, it's the end of April, I think, when season starts. Well, I mean, you seen what happened on Monticello when they cut the heat there. The fishing got better to me. Cass County, yeah. Hey, let me know. I'll come over and go film a hunt or two. I don't care. Hell, I'll film you hunting. I don't have to hunt. I'm trying to get on. Y'all seen me hunt out there with Brent if you watch any of my hunting videos. I'm trying to get on that lease with him, which is in Cass County too. What about Tankersley? I don't know about Tankersley. I know the biggest fish I've put on scales in the last few years came off of Tankersley. I got a little experience with it. I can call them. I'm not good, but I can call them. Hey, Bobby, you say that Pavel Summer? Yeah, there you go. Somebody got L&M got him. I didn't know if Lou was still hiding in here or not. Tankersley? I like it in the kayak. Lake record, yeah, it might have been. I had no clue, Bobby. Every lake I'd ever fished in Texas, it was at least 10. They even start looking at a lake record. Let me rephrase that in Northeast Texas. Now I know, and I'll never catch another than that big up there. Okay, Lou, you just listening now? It's one of my favorites. I like it. I can go out there some days and catch fish. My favorite lake's Lone Star. Don't tell nobody. My second favorite's Lake the Ponds. Truly, probably my real favorite's Lake the Ponds and Lone Star second. They got Lake the Ponds so jacked up right now, I can't even get into my hole though. They had that big fish kill out there last year though. If they don't even know what caused it. All right, Eddie. I know after lunch I gotta go kill a hog. Black and blue time, yeah. Black and blue and red hard baits. It's that time of the year. I used to be just a red rattle trap, but I'm getting where I throw that red square bill quite a bit. Bobby put a schooling on me with one. I started throwing it. Oh, a Merville. I've only fished Merville a handful of times, and it's always been in a tournament. So we were always out there trying to catch unders. So I don't know. I don't know. Yes, yes. Ellison Creek Reservoir, if you look on a map. But it's been Lone Star to me ever since I was a kid. I'd say I grew up there. Right down from Scenic View Marina. About 5 houses down, 6 houses down south of it. Which don't get me started on Scenic View Marina. If them fuckers would let you launch a kayak there, I would go out there right now and put a rattle trap video out. Nothing but rattle trap. Ain't nothing to it. Turn it on looping, 5-minute looping. Every time you catch a fish, stop it and start it. It's easy. The hard part's editing and all that shit. Check this out. I couldn't get into Lake Banjo one time because the water was up, and I've never bass fished right back. Well, it's 20 miles on up the road from Banjo. So we were there. And me and Rob just went, and I said, stop right here. It's a transition line, it's changing, everything looks the same, but that looks different. I said, stop right here. And in 2 casts, me and him both had fish on the boat. Scotty, my biggest fish ever came out there in front of the fire department, a little over 11. And they just stocked it this summer with F1s. It's going to get good again. And they're letting the grass come back. There's actually hydrilla there again. Yeah, I don't do that anymore. That's why you don't hear very often in my videos, GoPro stop recording. I don't do it that way anymore. Eric, which GoPro you got? 998. Scotty, we were fishing one of them Friday night tournaments out there. I don't know if you watch any of my fishing videos, but Buck that I fish with a lot, last cast. We're up there at St. View Marina because they were one of the last places that had good grass on the lake. I mean, it's like 2 minutes till time to start heading to the launch. Like 11:58. I cast up there under that light, and he's got a black and blue jig on braid. And it went to singing, son. I mean, singing. By the time he got it to the boat, it was after midnight. They said, what do we do? I said, we finna weigh that bitch in. It was 8-2. We won big fish that night. Seven. I don't know exactly how to set the 7 up. I got that 8. But all you gotta do, watch a video, set it up on the 5-minute looping if you're fishing. I don't have mine handy. Now, to make your video look good, hey, hell, give him my number. You got my number. Tell him to call me, and I'll tell him how to do it. Thank you, Scotty. Some of my older videos are pretty good. I hadn't made a good fishing video in a long time. And Bobby, give Eric my phone number and tell him to call me tomorrow. Text me. Tell him to text me to start with, or I won't answer the phone. I'll tell him how to set it up. Does he have a computer to edit with? I appreciate it, dude. Because some of my videos are lousy. And if you're watching them, thank you. Some of them I forget to roll intros. Some of them I forget to roll outros. Some of them, and that's the thing of messing with a GoPro. If you had never, your footage will hide from you. You can't find it. I don't give a shit what you do. And then you lose a section of the video, and the video might not make any sense. That was a good day, yes, sir. That was a special day. You don't have a bunch of those fish. Well, I have, but I don't have a bunch of them on video. The best day of fishing I've ever had. Period. No other days like it. A bone colored Zara spook. and a 30 plus bag limit in 35, 40 minutes. Lake of the Pines, post spawn. It was fire. It was a day that top water shouldn't even work. It was nearly bluebird skies, no wind. I caught them all in one area. Hey, I finally got that fixed where that doesn't happen, but that happened several times. Yeah, Lou, you can lose, and you'll find it eventually. It's on your computer somewhere, and it'll show up after you get through editing. Oh, it drives me fucking nuts. Yeah, I finally got that fixed on that rod. I've had it happen a couple more times. I had it happen on Bob Sandlin, and I know it was a giant. I know it was a giant. I brought him to the top of the water before it happened. I was talking about it earlier. Go watch John B's video on OHIV. He had the same thing happen. They hand lined the bastard in, but it wasn't about a 5-pound fish. But the GoPro, once you figure it out, it's easy. It took me a couple of years to figure it out. Watching a lot of videos. The GoPro is easy to fish with. Now, you need an all-day battery. If you don't have an all-day battery, you're shitting in the wind. It went backwards. That ain't worth a shit. Was it? He said it's a big one. He told me he lost a big one out there. I didn't know it like had any big fish in it. Somebody must have dropped that off. Okay, you do, Lou. Get ready to start filming fishing with it. It's a whole different beast. I set mine on 60 frames a minute. Trying to remember off the top of my head the way I do it. 5-minute looping and not super wide, but not narrow, in between. And I run the stabilization at 100%. And I run an all-day battery. The way you do that looping, I'll do my intro without it on looping. I'll do it. I got a different setting I do my intro on. Then I flip over to my fishing setting. Wherever I got it, if I got it on my chest, if I got it on a pole, wherever I've got it, I hit go. It's recording the whole trip. But it's only saving 5 minutes at a time. And I can make some decent video. That new Joby tripod I've got, when I film on it and hold it out in front of me, I make good video. But I get lazy and just hold it in my hand most of the time. And that video looks like garbage. Yeah, when you start fishing, figure out that looping. You got to have that all-day battery. Because nobody wants to miss a fish catch because you were changing a battery. And it's happened before I started using them all-day batteries. And he's not in here, but I will give him 100% credit for that. Texas Reeling's the one who taught me that. Because I was in my kayak, I had a little waterproof case that had like 6 GoPro batteries in it. You can get about an hour and a half out of one with it looping, sometimes less. I'll be taking them down and changing them, taking them down and changing them, taking them down and changing them. Fuck that. You got mounts all around the boat. Cool. That and that all day battery. I hate when I wear it on my chest. I don't want to do it to y'all, but it sounds like Darth Vader. That's why I don't wear it on my chest. That's what it sounds like. She post something on here, Bobby? I paid $50 a piece for them, Okie Rob. They were good ones. And they're 2 years old and they still do what they do. That bell. I don't hear no bell. What are you talking about? That was a clock, Bobby. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are? Yeah, if you get, I don't know what GoPro you got, but most of them you can plug in to charge on the fly. And that's what I do, Okie Rob. That's how I deer hunting, fishing, shooting a video of any sort. I've always got that all day battery plugged into it. Yeah, Bobby. You had me looking on the phone. I thought you heard her screaming, and I didn't. Hero 5, I think. Okay, yeah, Okie Rob, you have to take that battery door off, and it's no longer waterproof. But you can hook that all day battery up right there at that battery door. That's why when you see me fishing, I always carry a couple extra batteries with me. If it starts raining, I'll put that door back on there and put that all day up. And I miss catches then. But it's got to be raining hard for me to worry about it. Because, yeah, I've got a GoPro 5, Hero 5, and an 8. When I win the lottery, I'll have one of them new 10s. That 8, best investment I ever made in my life. It's got good stabilization on it. It's got a decent mic once you buy that media mod for it. I love it. When I keep smudges off the lens, it clear video. Good video. Fishing, you're going to get fish line on your GoPro. You'll get it nowhere else in the boat, but it's going to be on the GoPro. And I don't understand it. The 10 looks good. It looks real good. That forward facing screen. Oh my God, that would make my life so much easier. Then I'd give some kid my 5 or somebody just starting out my 5. I'd just give it to them. Because the only time I use that 5, period, is if I got somebody fishing with me that wants to wear a chesty that don't have one. Right. That's what I'm saying. Clear video. I get clear, good video, quality video out of GoPro. You got to set the lens up right. That's the difference. You got to fool with the settings. Don't get me wrong. If I had a DSLR, that's what I'd film all my intros and outros and get all my B-roll from. But I'm horrible in this shit, so I have to figure out how to do it with a GoPro. There's so many tutorials out there on all them GoPros. We all watch YouTube all the time anyway. Go watch a YouTube video on it. I'll tell you who I figured out how to set mine up from. We used to be big buddies. We're not really anymore. But Oklahoma's worst angler has an old video on how to set a GoPro up. It's probably the best one out there. And that's Oklahoma's worst angler. That's his channel name. It's an old video of his. That and Weston Smith, them two right there know how to set a GoPro up. First year I had a GoPro, I just thought you hit record. I didn't know you could set different shit on it. Nothing. Just hit record and tell it to start and stop. There's a lot more to it to make quality video. One day I'll learn how to make quality video. Yeah. Now, low when I fish, I try to run two. A lot of times I'll mount that 5 up behind and have it pointing towards me or in front of me. And I'll mount that 8 right in between my legs on my kayak, pointing back at me. Okay, Rob, we all sit here and watch too much YouTube. If you want to know how to do it, Weston Smith and Oklahoma's worst angler have the best 2 videos on setting up a GoPro I've ever seen. And it applies from the 5 on up. The only difference between the 5, it does not have the stabilizations that the newer ones have, which means your batteries last longer if you got good batteries. And I don't even worry about the starting or the stop near as much as I used to. It's just the starting. You got to get it started. I've been known to forget to do that. That's the only way I miss a fish catch anymore is I forget to turn it on. Forget to start it to record when I first hit the water. But like when I'm holding that GoPro out and looking at me and filming, I can do it at 24 frames per second on linear and 2.4K. That's how I get crisp shots. Y'all have a good one, Bobby. When you going fishing again, Bobby? When it warms up? Or y'all fishing Sunday? I'm finna get out of here too. I've been on here an hour and 50 minutes. That's about as long as I'm sitting in this chair. I need me an office chair right here. I'm sitting in the backbreaker 10,000 right now. That's another thing. When I'm fishing, I know the GoPro beeps to when it's recording and when it's not. Beep, beep, you stopped it. One big long beep, you started it. When I'm hunting, I don't get that. I cut all that shit off. And I'm guessing and looking for a little red light flashing. But when I'm fishing, I got that bait where you can hear it, turned up where you can hear it on whichever one I'm on. It's like when I'm fishing the back of Buckner's boat, he can, from the front deck, he can stop it and start it. Well, he gets in a hurry, and I tell him, slow down. It ain't double bait yet. You got to let it double bait and then start it again. But I hope everybody you learn a little bit. If you need to know anything, tell me. I'll give you my phone number. I don't like talking on the phone, but I will if somebody needs a hand. All right, Scotty, hell, holler at me when you're up here fishing this way. I'd like to go out with you. Yeah, I gotta kill a hog tomorrow. But I'm not doing that till after lunch. I work till lunch. So y'all have a good night. I'll be back live Sunday, and I'll see y'all then.